The iPhone 13 is very similar to the iPhone 12 when it comes to the design, but there are a few upgrades that we cannot ignore. You now get a brighter display on the iPhone 13 with a 20% smaller notch. The A15 Bionic inside the iPhone 13 is definitely more powerful than the A14 Bionic inside the iPhone 12, which goes without saying. You get an upgraded primary camera sensor which has a larger micron pixel size, and of course you also get sensor shift stabilization lens attached to that primary sensor, and the battery size has also been increased. However, I want to bring attention to the fact that the iPhone 12 is available or was available depending on when you're watching this video for under Rs 50,000 in the Flipkart Big Billion Day sales. In fact, Apple is bundling a free AirPods with every iPhone 12 purchase as a part of its official Diwali offer on its official online store. Which begs the question, is the iPhone 13 worth that much extra at Rs 80,000? Well, let's find the answer to that question and more in our in-depth review of the iPhone 13 and comparison against the iPhone 12. In case you don't know me, I'm Arshad. You can find me at R3- on Twitter, and you're watching My Smart Price. Let's begin. Now, before I talk about the iPhone 13, let me quickly get in a word from our sponsors, OnSiteGo. Now, the fear of dropping your phone is directly proportional to the cost. Therefore, I have the perfect solution for you, OnSiteGo's spills and drops / damage protection plan. Now, if you're someone like me, and I've done this for the longest time, I don't use a case with my phone because I don't like to hide the beauty of my new phone, plus add to the weight as well. Now, OnSiteGo's protection plan definitely gives you the freedom to do so. Why? Because if by accident your phone falls and breaks, OnSiteGo's service will repair it, and if it can't, then it will replace it. No questions asked. And if you want to use your phone for 2 to 3 years, which is generally the case with most flagship phone usage, then you should consider getting OnSiteGo's extended warranty plan, which will give you complete peace of mind. Links for OnSiteGo's plans are in the description below. And since I always say that our subscribers are awesome, we have something special for you. Now, if you're planning on buying one of OnSiteGo's plans, then don't forget to use the discount code that's popping up on your screen right now, which is MSP20, for a whopping 20% discount. But before we move on, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever My Smart Price puts out an awesome new tech video. The immediately visible changes in the iPhone 13's design are the restructured camera layout and the smaller notch. Now, the two cameras on the iPhone 13 are placed in a diagonal setup as opposed to one below the other on the iPhone 12. This is because the sensor inside the iPhone 13 is much larger now and requires a bigger camera ring as a result. Yes, it doesn't really make a huge difference to the visual aesthetic, but it does add to the thickness of the bump, making it easily wobble on a table. And like I mentioned in my iPhone 13 Pro Max review, I'm really indifferent to the 20% smaller notch. It doesn't really add to the daily usage experience. What I did find odd and arbitrary was the fact that Apple has now moved all the buttons and the silent switch to a slightly lower position than before. But before we move on, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever My Smart Price puts out an awesome new tech video, because we will take all the support as we're trying to hit 100K really soon. So smash that red button down there. Since I've used the iPhone 12 for the better part of 2020 and 2021, I found this move disorienting for the first couple of days, but you do get used to it eventually. Now, another point to note is thanks to the larger battery and bigger camera sensor, the iPhone 13 is now 10 grams heavier and 0.3 grams thicker. That doesn't really matter at all because the added density and heft makes the phone more reassuring to hold, and it ensures that you are far less worried about dropping it in regular usage. I must also say this, the matte aluminium flat sides don't bite into your hands as much as the surgical steel railing on the Pro series. Now, as for the rest of the design, you get the same great IP68 water resistance. Additionally, the lightning port persists on this generation of the iPhone 13 series as well. Hopefully, we should see an iPhone with a Type-C charger by probably next year or the year after that, because the European Union has ruled that all smartphone brands should only ship with a Type-C charger. Now, the iPhone 13's display, apart from the smaller notch, is near identical to the previous generation iPhone 12. You get the same great 6.1-inch OLED panel with 60Hz refresh rate and support for HDR10 and Dolby Vision formats as well. It is color accurate and vibrant for watching content. But this time around, Apple has made it slightly brighter in regular usage. which means that it is better to use outdoors when compared to the iPhone 12. Now the only feature missing is the support for 120Hz refresh rate, which is limited to the Pros. It is called ProMotion for a reason. As for the brightness, you do get a slightly brighter display on the iPhone 13 when the auto brightness is on. It can go to 800 nits under direct sunlight as opposed to 625 nits on the iPhone 12. The iPhone 13 definitely has better visibility outdoors. However, HDR peak brightness tops out at 1200 nits on both the phones. Now coming to the camera setup, the iPhone 13 has an upgraded primary sensor. You now get a larger 1.7 micron pixel size on this sensor with sensor shift optical stabilization as well. Unfortunately, the hardware specs of the ultra-wide camera is still the same with a fixed focus sensor, which means that you cannot do close-up macro shots like you could with the iPhone 13 Pro series. Anyway, let's quickly take a look at the camera comparison with the iPhone 12. Now starting with the exclusive features, we have the new cinematic mode, which is exclusive to the iPhone 13 lineup. Everything I said about the cinematic mode in my 13 Pro Max review is true for the 13 as well. It is a fun feature with focus racking working fairly well. But since it is in the nascent stages, the edge detection still needs a lot of work. Plus you can only shoot at 1080p 30 FPS. Otherwise, I actually enjoyed using this mode. Then there are photographic styles that lets you define the look of your photos. For example, if you prefer the rich contrasty look like a Pixel phone, you can pick that. Essentially, the iPhone 13 now gives you the option to change the picture profile without destroying the image in post. Now, Apple also claims that it keeps the facial tones intact, but I noticed that the facial tone does get altered slightly in the cool profile. Now, moving on to the comparisons, thanks to the larger sensor, daylight images are slightly sharper compared to the iPhone 12. But it doesn't really matter because you really need to pixel peep to spot these changes. For example, take a look at the 100% crop on the buses and the trees on the road. Now when it comes to color reproduction in the standard photographic style, you really won't be able to tell a difference in the color science between the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 12. Although even in these samples, when you zoom in to check for fine details, the 13 does look sharper. Not to mention, you also get the option to change the photographic style based on your preference, which is definitely an advantage for the iPhone 13, which offers you more variety with color profiles. Now Smart HDR4 is where a lot has changed. Apple now goes for darker shadow regions and vibrant highlights. This is where you will notice that it has this distinctive look that aims to cut shadow noise by underexposing one stop. This is the problem with brand-defined algorithms anyway. You don't have the control over the final output. In any case, both the algorithms have a different approach, but the biggest advantage with Smart HDR4 algorithm is the gorgeous highlight control and clean gradients in the sun out here. I would have really appreciated if ProRAW was extended to the iPhone 13 series, but yeah, well, that's not happening. Now Smart HDR4 does help with ultra-wide angle shots, though I could spot far less shadow noise and cleaner textures. So ultra-wide is definitely slightly better tuned now. Emphasis on the word slightly because most folks again won't care. Now human subject shots in daylight look very identical on both the phones. I really cannot tell the two apart except for the slightly sharper image on the iPhone 13. But against the light with Smart HDR4, you can see the dynamic range performance has improved dramatically on the iPhone 13. The iPhone 12 has blown out the highlights, and both the phones have the famous orange face syndrome with Indian skin tones for some reason, which I'm not really a fan of. Now when you look at the portrait mode performance, there's nothing to tell the two apart really. Now selfies offer a slightly more accurate skin tone with sharper textures on the iPhone 13, and against harsh light you do get better highlight control in the rear but softer details on the face compared to the iPhone 12. It is definitely inconsistent that way. Now the immediate advantage of the bigger sensor on the iPhone 13 is sharper low light shots. In the first sample, you will notice clearly when you pixel peep around the Pioneer Square board that it is much sharper on the iPhone 13 compared to the 12. But yes, the image does look extremely contrast heavy thanks to the darker shadows. Although shadow noise and noise in general is much lower than the iPhone 12. And in certain shots, the iPhone 13 takes a second less to expose the same scene compared to the iPhone 12. In general, you do get more vibrant looking low light shots which stay true to the scene. Now the second image just amplifies our findings. You will see much sharper textures around the lamp area and considerably less noise too. Now the new low light algorithm also helps with low light ultra wide shots. You get far less noise and higher detail retention in the iPhone 13's ultra wide shot, but you will have to be okay with much darker shadows. I know a lot of folks would rather take a brighter image over noise control. What do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Now something's really up with low light selfies on the iPhone 13 series. The iPhone 13 Pro Max was bad for some reason and so is the iPhone 13. The iPhone 12's low light selfie, as is evident from the sample here, is sharper than the iPhone 13. seriously odd. Now you can finally shoot Dolby Vision videos using the iPhone 13 at up to 4K 60fps resolution, which immediately gives it an advantage over the iPhone 12. You get a wider color palette, more vibrant tonal range, and better dynamic range performance too. Note that we have to downsample it to SDR here, so you won't be able to tell the difference immediately. But the iPhone 13's 4K 60fps Dolby Vision footage is better looking than the iPhone 12. As for the sound recording, I couldn't hear any further improvements. It is equally good on both the phones. Also, let it be known that you can get the same Dolby Vision quality on the iPhone 12 if you're willing to live with the lower 30fps recording option. The iPhone 13 and the iPhone 12. Do let us know in the comment section below what you thought about the image quality, the image stabilization, and my sound as well, as I pan around slightly and show you guys what it looks like when I'm shooting directly into the sun right now. And what do you think of the same is true for the front camera as well, which then obviously gives the advantage to the iPhone 13 when it comes to front camera video recording at 4K 30fps. All said and done though, the regular normal user is not going to see the technical advantage of the iPhone 13 over the iPhone 12 when you look at the bigger camera sensor, the tweaked algorithm, and of course the additional features as well. Having said that, if you even have a slight inkling for photography or you are a casual photographer, these performance gains will actually matter to you when you get the final output. All that I wanted to say about iOS 15 is in my iPhone 13 Pro Max review, and it is true for the iPhone 13 series and the iPhone 12 as well. So I will just redirect you to that review instead. In a line, iOS 15 is not a huge visual overhaul, but brings about some useful new features such as shared play, live text capture, focus modes, and more. And as usual, there is no denying that you get the best software support from Apple. You can be guaranteed that you will get at least 5 years of updates with the phone. Now, whether it is making phone calls with no call drops, rock solid 4G connectivity, and a stable Wi-Fi connection, the iPhone 13 is reliable through and through. Plus, you also get fantastic stereo speaker performance on this tiny body that enhances your multimedia experience. Coming to the new A15 Bionic chip, it is definitely more powerful compared to the A14 Bionic inside the iPhone 12, which is evident from our synthetic benchmark scores. But benchmark scores are benchmark scores at the end of the day, and daily performance is superb on both the phones. Even with high-intensive gaming, I couldn't really tell the difference between the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 12. For all intents and purposes, unless a developer makes a super intensive graphics heavy game for the upgraded GPU on the iPhone 13 series, the performance gap is not immediately apparent right now. That said, I do need to highlight that the iPhone 13 has a 4-core GPU as opposed to 5-core unit on the iPhone 13 Pro Max's A15 Bionic configuration. Now, the 3D Mark benchmark scores showcase the difference here. But yeah, once again, it is clearly a case of diminishing returns as Apple extracts a little more power with every upgrade. Clearly, the most impactful change in the iPhone 13 is the larger battery. You can rest assured that you will get great battery life from this phone. I got around 6 hours and 30 minutes of screen on time on a single charge. It is easily an hour and a half more than what I can achieve with the iPhone 12. However, the charging speed continues to be painfully slow. It took me approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes to charge the phone from 0 to 100 using a 20-watt charger, which is the max supported by the iPhone 13. Now, wireless charging using a MagSafe puck is going to be even slower. Compared to many Android phones out there, this is definitely a letdown. So we're at the end of the review, and like I mentioned, the iPhone 13's biggest upgrade is the battery life performance compared to the iPhone 12. Fun fact, I genuinely do know people who wait for the launch of a new iPhone every year. No, not to salivate at the features that the new iPhone is going to bring, but to hold off on juicy deals that will be available on the previous generation iPhones. And around the Diwali time, just like clockwork, the deals and discounts just drop and you get an insane offer on one of these older iPhones. In fact, if you have the budget for an iPhone 13, imagine if the older generation iPhone 12 Pro was available for slightly higher or the same price as the iPhone 13. That would make it even more confusing, right? Decisions. Now, if you are specifically looking for any iPhone, then do let us know in the your use case in the comment section below, and what kind of budget you have, so we can help you out, or someone from the team can definitely help you out. So that was our full review of the iPhone 13 and comparison against the iPhone 12. I hope you guys found it useful. Until next time, this is Eshar from My Smart Price signing off. Goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.